I'm sure you've had these same thoughts where it's, do I just buckle down the hatches, do what I hate, and stack as much money as possible, and then have some freedom, or do I pursue this riskier endeavor, put all my time, energy, and effort into it, and maybe it pays off, and then I'm somewhere I want to be.
If you tell yourself you're a loser, nothing's good coming your way, like that's your mind is going to pick up on all the bad things that happen.
Competing against others makes you bitter. Competing against yourself makes you better.
Don't wish away today for tomorrow because there is only today.
I think naturally, I'm pretty good at suffering. So it's like this moment is going to help me to tell the story and become the person I want to be.
Yep.
Compared to I need to get out of this right now. It's like no, sit in this moment, embrace the suffering. This sucks, and there's something in me that like loves it.
I will then adopt those ideas as my own and be like, oh yeah, I agree with that. So I think that too. When am I really doing the legwork to like come up with that idea on my own? I don't know. That I've been struggling with that because like I do agree with a lot of what these things these people say, but would I have ever came to that conclusion on my own? I'm not sure.
The commonality in our whole entire thing is take the fucking risk. Like you
Yeah.
have to be risky.
Yes.
Chase, my brother,
Nico, brother,
welcome
how
to
are we?
welcome to Naturally Curious.
I'm glad to be here. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
I think you fit that mold so well, just based on our conversations. And there's a little bit more that I usually go into, but I'll just name drop it for now. But dude, it's great to hear from you. I love when we go back and forth on Instagram. We've come a long way, I would say, since being 21
100%.
alcoholic degenerates to what I'd like to call a thinking man
Yeah, I
now.
I would agree.
You know,
We have come a long way. We've definitely grown up a lot.
yeah. So you're engaged,
Yes. Yes, I am.
dude. That's crazy.
I
When
I
did that
know.
happen?
So I proposed October 2nd, this 2025. I did it in Iceland. It was beautiful under a waterfall.
Congrats,
Thank you so much.
congrats, dude.
She's the one. Jessica Purse. Love that lady. She's definitely the
Oh
one.
yeah,
Makes me super happy. Feel safe, comfortable. I can be myself. Like I'm a fucking weirdo. Like
yeah, yeah.
I have a bunch of weird hobbies. I like UFOs and all this like weird stuff, but she accepts me for me and helps me, be my better self too. So she picks up where I lack and vice versa. It's great.
Much needed, much needed. Yeah, my buddy, I was just in New York City, and one of my buddies has a girlfriend, and the other buddy said, "It's crazy. He hasn't changed at all. He has a girlfriend now, and he's like the same person." I'm like, "That's a good thing. That's how it's supposed to be."
Right? Yes. You you
You
you
know,
want to be able to be yourself because being yourself is a superpower. For better or
for
for
sure.
worse, right? I have my own detriments, downfalls, whatever, but being yourself is super important.
Hmm. How was Iceland?
Oh, beautiful. It felt like a Minecraft world. I highly suggest going if you haven't. To all the viewers out there, highly suggest going. It was so incredible. The terrain changes nuts going from the city of Reykjavik. I definitely said it wrong, but going out to the mountains, we stayed in the countryside. There's goats and horses everywhere and like
Yeah,
chaotic raw landscape is how I described it. It was just beautiful. You could smell the sulfur from all of the hot springs and things like that. You could see mountains, volcanoes, fat glaciers, and we were able to hike on a glacier, and that was phenomenal. And even being able to say I did that was really cool. So a lot of fun. Black sand beaches, tons of exploration to do.
dude, I love it. My mom and stepdad just got back 3 days ago.
Nice, nice. I'm sure
Yeah,
that
they were
was
just there.
beautiful.
Oh, she said it was the best experience of her life.
Hmm.
Um, I
Yep.
love it. Good little catch up.
Yeah.
Let's dive into the weeds. What are we
Let's
thinking?
do
I
it.
like you sent me something. I don't really write anything down. Usually I will, but I think that just based on the conversations we have, I was like, I would love to just free flow a little
Yeah.
and
Yep.
let the conversation go where it will. But what did you text me something or you DM me something and it was like, these are good topics. I was like,
I
yeah,
I
let's start
DM'd
with
you a few. So there's a podcast I was listening to, Tim Ferriss with Arthur Brooks, and they were talking about what is happiness, the meaning of life, like what is fulfillment. I feel like I've kind of been mulling over that in recent the last like year, right? I made a career, or I'm still in the same kind of space, but made a job change. I'm not necessarily the happiest person in the world. It's not bad, but I'm not fulfilled, right? I'm always missing something and grasping at something that's not there, and I'm trying to kind of find that. And like they talk about the meaning of life, um, and I guess let's start from there. Let's start from there. I got many
it.
topics, but we'll start from there.
Yeah, so what to you, and I think it is interesting because we're younger. We are, still in this early adulthood,
Yep.
and it's the time to, and you and I have again gone back and forth with these same thoughts where it's a time to take risks,
Yep.
and work your ass off in a way where, like I'm sure you've had these same thoughts where it's, do I just buckle down the hatches, do what I hate, and stack as much money as possible, and then have some freedom, or do I pursue this riskier endeavor, put all my time, energy, and effort into it, and maybe it pays off, and then I'm somewhere I want to be. Right. So both, and it's funny because I'm going to bring up the book I'm reading right now, but you can only make one choice,
Yeah.
and then you'll spend the rest of your time thinking, well, what if I did this?
Right.
Um, so like that's where my head goes.
Yeah, no, that's where I've been as well, right? I'm actually at that, the dichotomy of that. I'm at the splitting of, do I enjoy this, the suck, which is like, it's so normalized on social media. You get the David Goggins, the Jocko Willits, like, do the things you hate, they make you stronger, which they do. And like, that's not to say they
Yeah.
don't, because I do think they're important. You want to like build the mental callus of being able to do the things that suck, because even if you do something you love, there's going to be the things you hate, right? So you're starting your coaching business. I'm trying to start like a performance hydration kind of pickle juice company to prevent cramps, right? There's going to be the admin work that I still hate, but
Mm,
the joy of the whole, right, of having your own baby, kind of bringing it through
mm.
and seeing it to through fruition, or whatever, right? So seeing it through the end, or sticking on the 9 to 5 path and doing the things that suck, but being able to stack a lot of bread. I think there's some hacks in that you can tap into. So like living at home, for example, I lived at home for like 2.5 years. That was the best financial decision of my whole entire life, hands down. Me and my fiance, we might go back to live in my parents' house for a year just so we can stack some more bread. Cause like living in an apartment, we live in New Hampshire currently, like it's cheaper than Massachusetts, but still there's a bunch of random expenses that pop up. I traveled to Waltham 2 to 3 times a week, spend $400 in gas like every 2 weeks. Like it adds up. So, and my
I mean,
car is
cheaper now.
yeah, right. Thank God. But like my mileage is terrible, and then food's expensive, and then like electric bill, Wi-Fi, like it just adds up. So to get any leg
Yeah.
up you can, I think is really important. But then it always comes back to, do I follow my passions, hopes, and dreams, or do I go the safe route and do what everybody else does? Which like doesn't sound attractive to me right now, honestly. It really doesn't.
Yeah, I think again, you're in a unique situation too because the difference between you and I right now is you are engaged,
Yeah.
and I have to assume what's going to come with that sooner than later is maybe eventually starting a family.
Yep.
And I think the pressure of I need to take these risks now and immediately so I can get there when we want to do this next step. But again, you said it early on too, and it's finding the right person to support who you are and
Yeah.
support what you believe in, and it just helps you grow, right? If she was
Yep.
dragging you like you need to go get a job and you can't take these risks entrepreneurially, you'd like it would drain you. And you'd be like, damn, maybe
100%.
she's right. Maybe she's
100%.
right. So I think choosing your life partner is so important, right?
Absolutely. Yes.
I don't know. Somebody says it. Definitely a podcaster. You've probably heard it. It might be Huberman, but it could be anybody else. And he says, choose somebody you'd go to war with. I think it's Jocko Willink
Mm.
now that I think about it.
Mm.
Um, and not necessarily literally,
Mhm.
but if I had to solve this major issue, major problem, I want you to be supportive. I want you to either have to take the lead or take the back seat and be okay with whatever one it happens to be,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
If you know more than me in this role, then great. I'll take the back seat and let's conquer this shit and win and get through it.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think so many people relationship wise just cling on to somebody they're comfortable with. And then those things start to kind of teeter away. You get the 9 to 5, you
Yeah.
start to lose that what is my life's purpose? Because
Mhm.
I met somebody who I'm supposedly in love with within those first few years. I did the white picket fence thing. I had the kids. I bought a house, but I never
Yep.
took risks.
Yep.
And I think that's such the commonality that we have the conversation of. One other thing, and then I'll open it back up. But living back home, right? So I mean, how old are you?
So just turned 26 last September. I'll be 27 this year.
Yeah, yeah. So same. Also turned 26. I'm back at home right now,
Yep.
and just after the travel, and I feel like you'd have the similar mindset. Uh, First of all, like great financial play. Second of all, like the social standard of and this economy, but the social standard of I think that's the problem with everything we're talking about though,
Yeah.
is like there's a social norm and if you're outside of what everybody else is doing at the age and time where friends are getting married, friends are having babies, friends and that's perfectly fine.
Yep.
But if you're outside of it, then there's judgment that comes there and then you're in your own head thinking about it. I
110%.
could I'm completely flipped. I'm on that 180 where I'm like, I don't give a fuck about any of that. This is what I want, and I'm just gonna keep going after it
Yep.
until I obtain it.
Yeah, absolutely. No, and I fully agree. So, and I think the social standards have or that social kind of judgment has increased because of social media. For better or for worse, I think there's some really great things about social media. You can stay connected with people for longer. Information travels easier, so like we can get the truth out easier. Then there's some detriments. Like the truth can be muddied, right? Like it's easy to lie on the internet, and people believe the first thing they see on the internet. You see the headline like global warming, but like that's a whole other topic that we can go over. But like it's not as bad
Yeah.
as the mainstream media has made it seem. But then you get judged for like I started a like Never Cramp, shameless plug right there. Pickle juice nutrition company, Never Cramp, help relieve and prevent cramps before, during, after any physical activity for athletes. I'm like posting
Mm.
videos of myself working out and drinking the product. And like I may look weird and people may judge me, but I need to try something and take the risk, right? And I'm not gonna let other people determine what I'm gonna do in my life because it's my life in my hands and I'm responsible. I'm fully in control. Whether this is a simulation or not, you are in control. Your thoughts shape your reality. And if you have these negative, bad thoughts about
Mm.
yourself, about others, it seeps in and can really affect who you are and change who you are completely as a person.
Yeah, yeah. I love everything about what you just said. Um, and I think on the side of, again, we're both earlier on. It's not going to be perfect right when you start. And
Yeah.
I think when you look at these successful Tim Ferriss, Rogan, Mr. Beast, I saw a video a little while back, and it's like their first episodes. They're
Yep.
all terrible quality
Yes.
wise, right? The
Yep.
conversations, they're good conversationalists. So where I'm at with what I'm going into now is like I'd rather just sit and have a good conversation with somebody, and everything else will follow as I
Yep.
learn through this process, right? So it's like, all right, I couldn't get this video to record to start. Next time we sit down and I do one over the laptop, it's like, make sure this shit works. Like you
Yeah.
slowly progress
Yep.
and you
Yep.
learn a lot in the process.
Absolutely. It's the
I love
iteration.
also,
It's the iteration.
yes. Yeah. What you say? Your perspective is your reality. Something like that.
It's perception versus perspective. So that's like when I
Yeah.
heard this through. It was Andy Bustamante. He's an ex CIA guy who was on a few podcasts. He was on Julian Dory podcast and a bunch of others. But
I think I've seen them.
he used this in like CIA like training or something like that to be able to understand people and connect with people. Everybody in the whole entire world has different perception and different perspective of everything. So
Mm.
I'll use a political example. I know politics are always polarizing, but it's really easy to explain with this example. So like if you have somebody who's down on their luck, poor, they haven't been given a chance in life, they're going to have different perception and perspective on everything than somebody like you and me who have may come from a more affluent family. We've had better opportunities, right? But then it's also like to tailor it back to like you're in control. If you tell yourself you're a loser, you're nothing's good coming your way, like that's your mind is going to pick up on all the bad things that happen. So you're never going to be able to get out of that mindset and state of woe is me. But then again, that to deal with people and deal with anybody, it's like you have to kind of be in their shoes and get into their perspective and what perception they have on the world.
Mm. Very well said. And I think that's curiosity over judgment is
Yeah.
exactly
Yeah.
what you need in order to be, somebody might walk by and they're a little different and I immediately judge them. It's exactly what you just said because my perception and my perspective is different than what theirs may be.
Yep. Yep.
It'll maybe come along. But Adlerian psychology, I don't know if you've looked into it at all, if you
No.
have a couple good books that I've looked into, but really what the focus is you're always in control of your emotions, your next
Yes.
move, all these
Yep.
different things, right?
Yep.
And
Yep.
whatever's happened in the past should have no effect on what you do next,
Yes.
which I think is something most people need to sit down and think about and be conscientious of
Yep.
because it's so easy to be like, well, last year, I went through this, so I can't do it tomorrow. Like, I can't go do this thing tomorrow or the next day or whatever it may be. Um, and that right there is we're all born at different lines, different starting points of the
Yep.
race,
Yep.
but your next step is always the same as the other person next to you. So
Yeah.
maybe you have to take a left step and I can take a right step.
Hmm.
But if we have the same goal, it's the goal's the same. It might just be a different journey to get there. And
Yeah.
if you want it that bad, it's, people have had it worse and done it better. Classic one. So
Exactly. And to add on to that, people love to dwell on the past, right? I've really been trying to focus on the now, and I think everything is in now, right? Past, present, and
mm,
future all happen at the same time, right? That's so I have many weird hobbies, interests. Like I love quantum
go
physics.
into that one a little bit. Go into that. Past, present, future all happen at the same time.
So from what I don't know, all the woo-woo stuff I see online, like quantum physics, time all has already happened. And every moment is now, right? We're having this conversation right now. Yesterday, when it did happen, it was now, right? And so now, I'm going to keep using now because it's kind of just it is. But yesterday
But I
happened.
see what you're saying.
Yeah, every moment in your life happens right now. It doesn't happen yesterday. It doesn't happen tomorrow. It all happens right in the moment. So like the meaning of life. I not to kind of that's a crazy jump, but it's about being present, and every single moment of your life happens now. The day you were born happened right now. The day I got engaged happened right now. The day I graduate my MBA happens right now. The day I make $1 million happens right now. It doesn't. Everything happens in the moment, in the now. Nothing, and that's why. So to relate it back to people dwelling on the past, you can't focus on the past because it's just going to take you away from today. So I like psychedelics, so I was tripping shrooms one weekend, and this is a couple of years ago. I came up with the statement, um, what was it like? Enjoy today, or don't wish away today for tomorrow because there is only today. You have to enjoy right now. I'll say it again. Don't wish away today for tomorrow because there is only today. So then
Mm,
that can apply to anything. Your job, right? I'm
mm.
like, oh, I'm wishing it's 4 o'clock. Like I want the clock to be over. And like, dude, I fall into that trap too. I have gone over I struggle with like I know the philosophy, but like it's practice what you preach type deal. And I don't like we all right, we can all know all the philosophy we want and be super in tune with that in our own minds and things like that, but we'll still fall suit and fall short to like we're humans, right? So I'm still
Yeah.
gonna want the
Yeah.
clock to be 4 o'clock so I can be done with work and do the things that I then want to do. Now that dichotomy might change when I have a job I love, but you can't wish away today for tomorrow because there is only today. There's only now. There's only right now. There's only this conversation we're having right now. You know,
Just watched Rocky the other night for the first time in so long.
that's
There is
awesome.
no tomorrow. He screams,
No,
"There's no tomorrow," and it's
yep.
so valid.
It's true. It's so true. There's only the present moment always. And being present is so important because you only have Eddie Murphy. I saw a clip of him online. He's like, the average lifespan,
75.
75, 4,000 weeks. You have 75 birthdays, 75 Christmases, like now, obviously, we are healthier people. Like, we drew Lucky Straw. We're in America. Fucking love this place. So grateful to be here. But like we'll probably live to like closer to 90 and it goes by fast. We're 27. Let's
Even
round it
then,
up.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
that's
Even then, though, yeah. What would we have? 750? No,
if we were
yeah,
75, we'd have about 50 years. Probably have about like 60 something years left, which still
right,
it flies by. So like I even think about that and like I just picked up hunting. I fucking obsessed with it. Love being outdoors.
dude.
I only
I'm
have
coming up right now.
dude,
I want to hunt so bad.
it's the most real like you have to be present if you're even on your phone for a second like things change like that, right? You have
Yeah,
to be present, you have to be there. The most surreal, peaceful, calming, like that's real life. Like doing the
yeah.
spreadsheets isn't real life. Like I'm not fulfilled doing the spreadsheets. Oh god, like I want to go into sales because I like people, I like interacting, like I'm doing this, I love the conversations, but the real
Yeah.
life is being out there, the peacefulness and quiet of the woods. That's like what it's about. Being present, being in the now. Oh, it's so beautiful. It's so beautiful.
Dude, we spent more time as a species in that environment than like exponentially more time in that environment than we have doing what we're doing right now, right?
Yep.
20, 30 years ago, if you were in New Hampshire and I'm in Connecticut, we would have no form of communication outside
Yep.
of maybe a letter. I'll send you a fucking pigeon, right?
Yeah, literally. Literally.
Now, now you leave your house and at all times anybody can contact you 24/7. You're constantly explaining yourself. Social media, you're posting things, right?
Yep.
And again, you touched on that a little bit. Using it as a tool can be very beneficial,
Definitely.
but using it as a form of comparison, a dopamine kick in the moment, right? There's a major difference between me watching a video of somebody hunting and being like, fuck, I'd love to do that, and getting a slight dopamine kick, and me being in the woods with you, having my, it depends on what you use, but
Yeah.
let's say I'm
Yeah.
looking through a
Shotgun,
scope at a
whatever.
live animal,
Yep.
my heart's bumping, and like
Through
that
through your
feeling,
chest.
and it's a different world, right?
It is. It really is. Comparison's the thief of joy. I
Mm,
have had some conversations with people that are like, oh, no names, but people close to me, and they're like you're doing all these great things, blah blah. Like, don't compare yourself to me. Don't like you're on your own journey. We're all on our own individual journeys, and wherever you are is fucking awesome. If you think you
yeah,
can do better, that's on you though, because and you're in control, right? If you
yeah,
want to take the right step, where you were saying earlier, take the right step instead of the left, like
yeah.
do it. Do it for you. Don't do it because you see somebody else doing it. Comparison's a thief of joy. Comparison is a thief of joy, and that's one of the downfalls of social media. Like you and me, we probably see a zillion people who are like 21 and they're multimillionaires and they like are selling a course. Like, okay, if you have to sell a
Yeah.
course and you're a multimillionaire, are you really? I don't know,
No.
but like social media really hooks onto those are like the things that get put out there the most, get the most views, get sent out there the most, right? That's like what
Yeah.
social media attaches to, that and like negativity, which is too bad. You can curate your feed, right? But you have to be on top of it.
So on that note, because I was putting some thought, I'm looking for you said something too that I wrote down the other day, and I think that's what really got us conversating was I posted a journal entry and we just
Yeah.
started fucking firing.
Yes. Yep.
But I want to find that journal entry because you said something that I wrote down. But while I'm looking, and what I thought about was much as it's on the individuals who use their platform. I got to think about how I'm going to say this. As much as it's on the individual who uses the platform to uh, let's say the creator who is selling the course, the OnlyFans content creators, the girls who are making millions, but there's this whole generation of, you could say, men, women that are like, why would you ever do that? Why would you?
Right.
It's because there is a market for it. And is it
Yeah.
as much as it's on the creator, I believe that it's more on the society that made the market, right? If it wasn't a wanted thing within our society, then
Right.
it wouldn't be there,
Yeah.
right? So we're
100%.
always gonna, as people and humans, we're always gonna be searching for that. And like, you could call it what you want. You could call it, depends, I guess, on what you believe. But you could call it like a sin, the devil, like whatever you want it to be, if you
Yep.
reflect it in that negative manner.
Yep.
But I think the change starts at home, and that's kind of taking responsibility at the same
Yeah.
time. So
Yes.
it's going to lead back into, the past doesn't dictate what I do next. And
Yep.
then secondhandly, everything that I do is my fault. I could walk down the street and get mugged. I shouldn't have been walking down the street. That's just my approach, and I think it's going to carry me a little bit further. Um, so like, yeah, the OnlyFan model, right? I'm sue me. We're recording, but whatever. Like, I've clicked on a profile or two,
Yeah.
right?
Right. Right.
I'm the problem. I'm the problem
Yes. Like
because I'm
you had,
enabling.
yes, you had the ability to not do that, but you still did. Right? Now,
Mm,
did you act on it? Probably not. You didn't go buy it, right? It's a waste. It's all free.
yeah.
Um, hopefully not. But it's a waste. But we
Yeah.
are in control. You use the example of I walked down the street and got mugged. It's my fault. Yeah, you knew not to
Mm,
walk down that shitty alleyway. Like to do the quick cut over. Like, dude, go get your steps in, right? 10,000 steps a day. So
hmm
it's all on you. Now,
mm.
now to counter that, because I've been really trying to counter a lot of the things that I've like been thinking and saying, because I have another point that
As you as you should.
I want
As you
another
should.
point
Seriously.
as we get a little bit past this. But so there are people who didn't really, they got dealt a bad hand. Somebody who got born with some incurable disease or like missing a limb or something like that. Like that's hard, right? Like maybe they needed to take the shortcut or something like that. So trying to look at it on both ends of the spectrum. And then to before I forget this, because I'm gonna forget this, thinking on your own is really hard these days, and even I experience this. So I'm an information junkie. I listen to so many podcasts, whether it's on UFOs, conspiracies, quantum physics, space, ancient history, investing, hunting, whatever. I will then adopt those ideas as my own and be like, oh yeah, I agree with that. So I think that too. When am I really doing the legwork to like come up with that idea on my own? I don't know that I've been struggling with that because like I do agree with a lot of what these things these people say, but would I have ever came to that conclusion on my own? I'm not sure. And so that's concerning to me. And that's, I know that's not just happening to me. I know it's happening to everybody, whether people admit it or not, that's happening 100%.
Dude, what a point that you made. 120%. And you have this also, if it's somebody who you trust is saying it, it must be true.
Like Joe
It
Rogan. I trust him. I love him, right? He definitely says
yes,
things that aren't
yes.
true, but like a UFO topic or like even like political ways to view things. Like I
Yeah,
agree with
yeah.
him. He has valid points, solid arguments. He even questions himself and like he tries to be he tries to come from a place of non-bias and he even likes both sides.
Metal.
Like right, and
Mm,
now both sides is like trying to find your team and politics and other things are now replacing religion, which we can get into in
yeah.
another tangent, but yeah, that's I've been noticing that, and I'm trying to come up with my own ideas more. So like that idea of I'm coming up with my ideas and getting them from other people, that I actually thought about myself, which
Mm.
happy I was able to think about that on my own and not be influenced by somebody that I listened to say like I agree with that actually.
I think along with that is trusting the people that say these things. I think a healthy exercise or a healthy habit would be having conversations with people who do feel the other way about a subject.
Yeah,
And it's so hard to do as people because we do attract to these groups where we feel safe. And if I say
yeah,
something, I know, like you and I right now are we're pretty agreeable on most things, but we're similarly minded. If I
yeah,
was sitting here with somebody who I would consider to be closed minded, easy, like can live their life 9 to 5, have kids, and do all these things, I'd be like, it'd be like pulling teeth trying to be like,
yeah,
dude, you got to go for your goals, you got to try all this. And seriously, I've had meetings with potential clients where I explain my fitness goals and what I would see for them and all these things. And it's lightly like pulling teeth.
yeah,
I'm like, I don't deal with that negativity.
yes,
Um, on a bit of a tangent, the other thing I was going to relate it to was Chat GPT.
hmm,
It's so easy to not have to go into a deep thought over a subject where I can just look it up immediately. And Google's been like that forever.
yep,
Really, what it is, and I've had this conversation with a little bit of the older generation many times because the accessibility to information has always been there. It's
yeah,
always been, I could drive to the library, I can search through as many books as I have to, I can find the right chapter, I can find the right article, and I will have the answer for you. Now, that might take all day.
right.
And then technology advances, we get computers. I could Google the same thing. Great. Now ChatGPT can give me literally exactly that section in that book in that library within zero point zero 0.02 seconds. Right? So
Instantaneously. It's fucked up.
so it's instantaneous. So I can't even think about it. So when I had all day to think about, well, maybe it's this, maybe it's that, maybe it's this, my brain is working. I'm actively thinking. It's probably creating more neurons within, like whatever is happening when you're thinking.
Yep,
But when you
yep,
have the answer immediately, you're just going to forget it right away. Think about when you're in school right now. So if you need to learn something and you write it out and you understand the why of it, now you're knowledgeable on it. But
yep.
if you're just memorizing the answer, you take the test, you put the memory in. Next week you're gonna be like, I don't even know what that is.
That's funny you mention that because that's happened to me countless times in undergrad. Like now
Yeah,
I'm because I'm engaged more, and this is kind of like where I want to take my life. School's a lot different for me, but at
brain's
undergrad, it was
developed.
that. Yeah, I'm more developed. Like I've gotten older. I'm like thinking more, right? Or I'm trying to think more on my own and like come up with my
Yeah.
own stuff as much as I can. But it was I would have a stack. I remember there's a memory in my Snapchat, a stack of flashcards this big. I'm like, test me on these. Like I got them. You think
Yeah.
I remember a single one of those? Dude, no. I was I was preparing for the test and for the test to be over. Now, ready?
Mm.
That's like what school is about, and that's what kids think. Talk to kids younger than us, like my brother and his friends, they're like, "Oh, we just like need the grade." I mean, I was that too, right?
How old are they?
In college currently. So, junior gonna be senior year. So like does school need to change maybe a little? The MBA is not as much about grades as it is about actually learning and retaining the information and applying it to things and doing group projects and things like that, which has been a better learning experience for me. I'm going to be able to take what I learned and hopefully apply it to never cramp and whatever if I try to buy a business, entrepreneurship through acquisition, etc. Like I'll be able to apply it there, but like some like indirectly school, although the tests, like you have to test that you learned it somehow, but there needs I don't have the answer, but there needs to be a better mechanism to engage kids, because people are just going to use ChatGPT, forget about it, like you said, because it took 2 seconds, right? And then that ChatGPT works really well too, because the internet, social media, kind of instantaneous dopamine hits and the quick reels where people can't have long attention spans. But back to the point I'm trying to make is school needs to be better equipped to actually retain than just worry about the test, because that's what a lot of it is about currently, in my opinion.
Yeah, and being in Australia recently, their schooling system is so different from ours. My cousin has been there for 10 years, and as she was pursuing the family endeavor, she it was a big factor was the way the school system is ran, and I actually really agree with it. I think another thing to your point where as we've gotten older, if I were to go back to school right now, I'd be a completely different student than when I was 20 years old, an alcoholic, and didn't know what my next step was. Now that I kind of first of all, frontal lobe development is, I think that hit me like a truck. But second of all, I've experienced some life. I know really what path I'd want to take, and I
Yep.
have the passion and drive to be great in it.
Yeah,
So if I
absolutely.
went to school, I'm not going to waste time and I'm not going to waste money. And I'll say I won't be as distracted by the women, the partying, the friends, the lifestyle, because I know what happens after. And
Yeah,
again, like I think you have to live that a little bit to
definitely,
appreciate what it was.
definitely.
Uh, But schooling system wise, right? We've been on the same. We'll call it younger generation or younger whatever, like schooling programming. I understand the basic need for math, science. Like I get
Me
it.
too. Me too.
But once you're beating the horse in high school, and I'm taking an algebra course that's going to have literally nothing to do with
Nothing.
whatever I do next,
Nothing.
it's you're turning me away from this moment. And it's so funny because I think we've all experienced this where you have the kids in your high school who are a little bit more on the troublemaker side. They're a little
Right.
more disagreeable, and they're sitting in math class and they're causing problems. But if you're in a mechanical engineering class, they're number one. They're on it because that's what they're interested in. Like they have
Yes.
an A in that class and F's and everything else. Well, it's
Yep.
like put put him in something that he can pursue his passion within, and then in a few short years, he's a an active member of society in a
Yes.
valuable way.
Yeah.
And so
Yep.
yeah, I don't know. And my buddy, just to go on that again, he was complaining about the school system the other day because he said the same thing. He wanted to play pro baseball, great player, D1, had these potentials, and he was out in California, and even the California school system's a little different. Where if you have potential, you're playing that sport year round. You're not sitting in these it's a little
Yep.
different. And again, I think it's on that riskier side of, well, if it doesn't work out, you always have the fallback of you have your degree, so you can go sit in a 9 to 5, be miserable, have the kids, and get out of my house if I'm a parent. Right.
Yeah.
So there's so many what ifs, what like and whatnot, but I think the commonality in our whole entire thing is take the fucking risk. Like you
Yeah.
have to be risky.
Yes. If you don't, it's I always screw up the saying, like, would you rather the risk of regret, or like the regret of not taking the risk, something like that. I said it wrong, but you don't want to be on your deathbed and being like, shit, why didn't I invest in Bitcoin, or why didn't I go try that random job? Like I'm yes. Yes.
This whole book is about regret. That's why you just said that. I was like,
That's
go
funny.
ahead. Keep going. Keep
So
going.
regret is something you don't want to have in life, because you can that you like Gary Vee says it best. Like he didn't figure out his shit until he was like 40. Maybe he was a little younger, like 38, right? Like so back to the social media. We're all sold this like pretty perfect picture, like Cinderella tale of like, oh, these kids are rich at 21, they're good, don't need to work, whatever. It's like, dude, that's like less than half of a percent. There's nine
Yeah.
billion people on this earth, and there's maybe like 100,000 of those kids. I'm exaggerating, right? Maybe there's a couple million, but like that's such a small percent. It's negligible, and that's not real.
Yeah.
So take the risk, try the different things. Like I was talking to my fiance Jess, I'm like, dude, I love hunting so much. And she loves to ski. I'm like, let's go live out west for a year and do not regular jobs. I want to be an outfitter, and like, I love adventuring. I love exploring. Like ancient Native American history sounds fucking sick to me, and like to be able to go camp in the old like cave systems and like whatever the mountains and whatever that they were living in back when they were here and like really prominent in the Americas. Like That would be so sick to go explore and like bring people on a horseback riding, like hunting backpacking trip. Like that sounds like something I would absolutely want to do, hands down, no doubt about it. And like most people aren't willing to take that risk and forego a regular like 9 to 5 for a little bit. And you know what? I don't give a shit if it turns me away from an employer. Have fun sitting at a desk, dude. Like have fun. I I can't live sitting at a desk for the rest of my life. I'm sure whatever I do next or whenever I like find my thing, there will be bits and pieces of I hate of it. But as long as it's like 60% love, dude, that's fine. As long as I majority like it, there's going to be the bad things you don't like in every single job, no matter what it is. As long as you like it more often than not, it's good.
What's stopping you from doing that?
Um, it's like a money thing, and like I want to finish my
Yeah.
MBA. I mean, well, let's get into the money thing next. Money thing for sure. MBA. We have a lease here, or renting an apartment, and we're out in September. So, and like, our wedding is going to be next year, and all that good stuff. So, I think we'll get that done. We'll finish that and do that big milestone and send it out west. Like, she would be a lift attendant at a ski lift, and I would be a fucking outfitter, take people whitewater rafting, like backcountry camping,
So sick.
whatever. I mean, I don't even know how I'll get that job, but I'm going to apply and figure it out. I'm just eager and I want to do something fun. And I'm like, I don't know. I feel like I can do it. Like, you can do fucking anything you put your mind to. That.
I was just gonna say that. You can, and I totally agree with you. I think, you're firing me up as I'm sitting here, but we talked about, let's say we have, for the sake of conversation, 90 summers, 90 winters, whatever
Yeah.
it is. When you're at 88, are you gonna be like, I'm so happy that I took that safe route when I was 26 and that
Yeah.
I stayed and I worked the 9 to 5 and that maybe I made a couple $100,000 sitting behind this desk in this lifespan? And like every day I did the same shit and it went so quick? Are you gonna be like, fuck, when I was mid 20s, I really moved across the country and took this insane risk, lived in the wilderness, and it's gonna change the way, like, I always see this now, especially because my Instagram is all travel based since I started it.
Yep.
And it's like, thank you, this trip, for making me unemployable.
Yep.
And I think we have our head on our shoulders enough to be like, I want to take these risks, live my life, and enjoy it because at the end of the day, we're all going to the same place.
Yes.
Well, we're all going to die at least.
Yep. That is the only guarantee in life. Only
Only
guarantee. For
guarantee.
better or for
So
worse.
the money's not coming with you. The
Yep.
memories aren't like the memories are what are worth living for. And the storytelling, what makes you who you are. Like you can, and again, I think it's dependent on the type of person because I know the type of person you are, and I know the type of person I am, where I could stay in this little bit of a round circle, but I know eventually I want a family and I want to
100%.
be a father and a
Yep.
husband and
Yep.
so I know I'm not there yet, so I'm going to continue to take the risks, follow these processes, enjoy the journey, do things that might be questionable to normal society.
Yep.
But if by 32, it's like, all right, I've lived a life. I'm ready to batten down the hatches. I'll sit behind a desk because I have to, because I took
Yep.
all the risks I could. It didn't work out. It wasn't for me. Let me find, right? So it's
Yes. Agree.
understanding that
Agree. Agree.
go all in. I think having a plan B can distract from plan A, but you have to know yourself well enough to be like, all right, what do I truthfully want? And if that's what it is, eventually, right? Or like, I want to be successful, like whatever that may mean to me,
Yeah.
right?
We'll get into that in a little bit too.
We'll get into that too.
That's good.
But yeah,
No,
you
I
you
agree.
hit it on the absolute head, dude. Let me say this quick, and then I'll let you go
Yeah.
again. But this
Yeah.
was we said it earlier. I think this was the journal entry that really got us going. Fuck, this one is so good too. You cannot stay energetically clean and be emotionally accessible to everyone. So that's a little off topic. But what does that mean to you? You cannot stay energetically clean and be emotionally accessible to everybody.
You get drained if you're emotionally accessible to every single person, and if you're constantly giving out, it's not even advice. Advice isn't the word, but if you're constantly okay, I'll segue to this to make it more clear, right? If you're in a group of people who four successful people, you're going to be the fifth, right? If you're in a group of four negative people and you're always giving your positive, outgoing, great energy, like they're going to drain the shit out of you, and you can't even then be energetically available for yourself, your loved ones, your family. You can't just give away, right? We feel energy, we radiate energy, and like if anybody's ever done psychedelics out there, like you feel it, even weed. You can feel the mood change in a room instantly. It feels like the devil came in and it's like, oh my God, this person just walked in the room and it's like, what just happened? Right? So if you're constantly giving your energy away, you don't have enough for yourself. I need to be there for my fiance. Like I love her so much. I can't be giving out all my energy to the negative people at work or the people who are down in their own luck. And like I can be as positive and outgoing and upbeat and happy and whatever to them. But if that's all drained and gone by the end of the day, then how am I supposed to bring that home and be the best self I can be?
Mm, perfect. Yeah, and you said the shrooms thing, and it's so funny because when I was in Bali, I had done shrooms, micro doses in the past, more as like a
Yep.
social going out
Yep.
setting. But I was surrounded by these high level entrepreneurs, good kids, like successful in whatever we want to call the term. And it was the perfect group to be surrounded by, so that we took a solid dose, went on the trip, and your iPhone microphone is available. Oh, I want to make sure that.
No worries.
But it was the perfect people to be surrounded by because it was the positive energy,
Yep.
reinforcing. Like we got emotional, there was highs, lows, and everything. Went on the trip, sat down with each other. Was like, "What did you experience? How was it?" One buddy sat and looked at himself in the mirror for 4 hours. Thought he was in there for 10 minutes.
Yep.
Right,
Yep.
insane. So as we're kind of coming down later in the evening, and a buddy's friend, we were at a villa, and some guy came in that was friends with the other people, and he immediately just had this negative energy. He was talking about how ChatGPT is going to take over the world. We're all
Yep.
like we all just went from so positive affirmation to like supporting each other to this guy coming in and just having this negative energy.
Yep.
We were talking about going for a walk. The other two kids who are very high level entrepreneurs keep positive people around them. Talk in a really good context of I used to be bad at this instead of saying I am bad, like just their
Yes.
approach, right?
Yep. Yep.
Uh,
Yep. Your words
so
matter,
we
by
get
the way. Words are spells.
for sure, and we get out front. To make a long story short, one of them walks out. I'm already out there. He goes, "Dude, had to get away from that guy. Can't do the negative
Bro.
energy." And I couldn't even think of it. Then the other one walks out, goes, "Had to get away from him.
Hmm.
Way too negative." And I'm like, the organic people pleaser in me likes to listen to hear people out.
Yeah.
And like what we said earlier, it's like, oh, you know what? That's a good point. Like, and I didn't think about it like that, but now that you said it, and I kind of know you, I kind of trust your opinion.
Yep.
I shouldn't be doing that with this negative energy. I have my opinion. Stay sturdy with it,
Definitely.
and continue on. Remove yourself from the situation, and just stay positive. All it is. Seriously,
110%. You know what's really funny? So
dude, you hit it on the head.
there's no such thing as a bad trip. It just brings it takes off the veil of the ego. Ego is like huge in today's day and age, especially with social media. You can have a big ego online and you come into contact with this person in real life and it's just different. But these psychedelics, even weed, it removes the veil of the ego and really gives you your real self, and you're able to see these things and notice these. So you're able to notice like the negativity in the room, and you like need to remove yourself. But uh, to relate, it's like if you're having a bad trip or you're like, I don't know, having an existential crisis, like you need to move and change the setting because even moving, I have my room, my living room, kitchen over here. Like if I'm having a bad trip in this room, I need to go bring myself out there and it resets the energy, right? So you need to move
Mm.
out of that space, negative space, into a new space, and it resets you, kind of regrounds you, levels you. You can move on.
Yeah, the energy, and I think subconsciously we're aware aware of that in the moment. But what the
Yep.
mushrooms is doing is it's breaking down those barriers where you're fully aware, and that's why it's like a spiritual
Yeah.
thing to do. I did. I
So
if you haven't experimented with mushrooms in the way of finding your true self, knocking down those barriers, and there's so many studies I'm sure you've seen with PTSD
yeah.
and addressing childhood traumas,
Yep.
and like I had memories I didn't even know were there, and I was like, wow, I can confront this. I can be emotional about it, and it's like a
Yes.
release. Like it was a life changing journey for me.
Yeah.
I'm sitting in Bali in like the middle of nowhere. It was
That's
a
fucking
great
sick place
experience,
to do it, dude. That's a sick place to do it.
dude.
I'm
You
super
and I,
jealous.
I'm coming up to New Hampshire, and we're
Dude,
gonna
let me
hunt and
know.
do some shrooms.
110%.
Uh,
We can go on a hike. I'm this summer. I'm planting. I'm planning like a 3 or 4 day camping trip and just gonna fish all the way up New Hampshire from Portsmouth to Pittsburgh. It's gonna be sick. I'm really
dude,
excited.
that's lit. No phone. I'm there.
Unreal. I'll see you there. It's gonna be great.
Um, I know we got a bunch of a bunch of next topics, but this we also talked about, and we can go through this one quick and then move on. But I think this was really one we already talked about, and you had some great takes. So you versus you, right?
Yes. Yes.
Competing against yourself makes you bitter. All right, let me resay that whole thing.
Restart
You
that.
versus you versus you. Competing against others makes you bitter. Competing against yourself makes you better. What do you think?
Absolutely. 100%. That's the same thing as like comparisons. I mean, same thing. It's adjacent. Comparison is the thief of joy. You're competing against yourself every single day. I'm not competing against you, Nico. I'm competing against myself to be 1% better every single day. Be a better fiance, be a better husband one day, be a better father, be a better brother, be a better child, grandchild. I want to be the best self for myself. I'm not doing it for other people. Sure, I want to be better for my fiance and family and things like that, but at the end of the day, you are competing against yourself every single day to be a 1% better version of yourself. You don't want to be on your deathbed and being like, oh, why didn't I take that risk? Why didn't I do that workout? Why didn't I take care of myself better? Why didn't I go on more of these
Yeah.
adventures? It's about you and make this journey about you. I try to make it about others too. I want to kind of please people and but I'm starting to realize more and more it's about me. I like the job is like, oh, you got to make sure to like present yourself in a way that you're trying to help the company. Yes, like 100%, right?
Work right now, you're saying?
Yeah, and I'm just using that as like as an example. Like, uh,
Yeah.
but at the end of the day, like I'm doing, if I'm gonna go get a new job, I'm doing it for myself. You
Yeah.
always want to better yourself every single day, 1% better each day. That's it. 1%. That adds up to 365% a year, 730% in 2 years, etc. And growth
Mm.
happens slowly, then all at once. It's that exponential growth curve that then shoots up and has that like hockey stick curve. 1% better every day, and that's all it fucking takes.
Exponential growth right there. Overnight success. I've been doing this shit for years. That one thing just happened to blow up, and now I'm where I want to be. But I
Exactly.
put all this time, energy, and effort in. Uh, I had a thought too while you were going, and I think comparison gets lesser the more I'll say deep conversations, but how many surface level conversations have you had? Because one, people maybe just don't care.
Yep.
Two, I think they can tend to be a little bit more judgmental than curious,
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, like beyond yes to that.
and they're insecure in themselves, so they are already doing a comparison. But I think if you have a belief system within yourself where, see, I was thinking about this last night too, and to get off topic, but now I'm thinking about it. How many times have you heard, seen, or whatever somebody say, I made them what they are, or you wouldn't be here without me. I got you here.
Yep.
And that's a common thing probably in relationships with the wrong partner, I'll say,
Yep.
where, and if I'm in a relationship and her and I are engaged and she helped me climb this ladder, and by 35, it's like I put you in your chair, so you're welcome. That's an insecurity on the person saying it because they don't feel confident in what they've done. Right. So like I
Yes.
think about that
Yep.
when I'm doing different things because it's like, first of all, who the fuck says that? If I'm your boxing coach and you win a championship, I'm like, and even as a coach myself, I'm like, I one of my clients said something to me the other day that was very, very nice and kind to me, and I'm like, listen, you did all the work. I just gave you this out, like it's on you,
Yep.
you
It
know.
is. It is.
But to
100%.
turn that and need the affirmation and be like, you're right, it was me. You're welcome. What does that tell me about you? What does that tell me about the person who's saying that? In my opinion, insecurity.
Yeah.
You
Yes.
haven't taken enough risks yourself, and you're maybe not comfortable with where you are.
And
But
you've never succeeded in your own mind either. And that's we can I don't know if you want to segue somewhere else, but like what is success, right? That
mm,
could be a good segue there. It's an individual definition for everybody. My definition of success would be fully control of my time. I don't want fucking anybody in my life to be able to say, actually, you know what? You're on till 4. Fuck that.
yeah,
That's not living,
yeah,
dude. That's like the
yeah,
weird Rockefeller, put everybody in rows. Your lunch is at 12 to 1. You ring the bell and you go to the next class. That's like the industrial age. Like, we own you. My freedom is not having anybody control my time, having a beautiful family, 3 kids, happy wife. She doesn't have to, we don't have to worry about money. She can come and go as she please. If she doesn't want to work, she doesn't have to. Like, I want to do something I love and I feel fulfilled and happy with every day. And then another question I asked you is like, what is fulfillment? We can get into that, but success is defined differently by everybody.
Yeah, I agree on that also. I think my definition of success would be around the lines of really what it was, and I think you said it, is I can do what I choose to do with my time,
Coming and go as you please.
right? And freedom. And it doesn't it's a thin line, I think, between success and freedom because
Hmm.
we're also aware that there are things you need to do, the admin work where I need
Yeah.
to sit down if I want to get to this point. And for
Yes.
some people it is I need to work 30 years so that I can have the last 20 to be free. Whatever, like whatever that approach is. Um but again, I think it is dependent on what your definition is because for me, it's I look back at my life when I we'll see if I make it past 30, but let's
Do
say I
it.
make it to
Do it.
80. And I look back at my life and I'm like, I did that shit for me. I did it my way.
Yes. Yep.
Especially as somebody who growing up to the point of like getting out of college, I had always done what I was supposed to.
Yep.
It was always follow the social, like go to college because that's what you're supposed to do, get a
Yes.
degree because that's what you're supposed to do. So I never really followed my passions, and that's a being a people pleaser and all these different things. So
Yep.
my definition of it now, to I'm rambling on, but to answer the question, my definition of success is honestly mildly, it's like to wake up when you want and go to bed when you want and
Yes.
not have to worry about what's in between.
Yep. 100%.
You know.
100%. Yeah. Mine's along that path, right? I'm sure we want to help people as well and like and do things of that nature, but having control of your life and not letting somebody else control it forever, that's there's something really special about that where a lot of people don't have that. A lot of
Mm.
people do not have that. So, that's really important. That's really important.
Well, going into purpose from that, that'll lead into
Yeah.
purpose a little bit. Oh, fuck, this is such a good one. Ready? I'm
Yeah.
so excited to hear your response.
Let's hear it.
Most men live lives of quiet desperation. What does that mean to you?
They're always trying they okay. So I'm living in quiet desperation. I'm going to break out of it. I'm doing something that I feel like I have to do. It's not pursuing your passions. It's not doing things because you love them. You're doing things because you have to do them and being stuck in that kind of role, not role, but like I'm going to call it a role. Being stuck in the I have to do this shitty job because I need the money. Quiet desperation. You're not ever doing what you want to do. It's never about you. That's right off the top of the head. That's what I go to. That's exactly what
I
I go.
love it. Do you think that most people live their life in a way where they're searching for their meaning and their purpose, but on the outside, I'm presenting you with a smile and like a good to see you. You get to work. Jim, how was your weekend? Great to see you. You don't give a fuck,
No.
right? So like on the outside, I'm presenting you with this bubbly character who's happy, and I'm
Yep.
not laying my head to rest at night thinking, is this what I'm meant to do? Is my purpose in life this?
Yep.
All these different things. Would you say that most people probably feel that way?
Definitely.
Yeah.
110%. All these standards that we see on social media, online, and things like that, it just manifests in people's lives, right? People do it for the money, like we were talking about a little earlier. When we didn't really touch on that, but like it's doing it for the money instead of doing it for themselves. And I mentioned a Tim Ferriss podcast with Anthony or Arthur Brooks, and like always searching for the meaning. There's people who are searchers and then people who are content, right? So I think we're searching. We're in the search moment right now, and then that
Mm.
kind of leads to like enjoying the journey. People will search forever and be in that quiet desperation of searching forever. And they won't even realize the journey. They won't be in the present of like, fuck, I'm 50, like I did make it, or I'm 60, 70, I did make it. I did make a ton of money, blah, 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 but I didn't enjoy any of it. And like you hear all of these like super successful wealthy people, they're like Warren Buffett or anybody like they're like I wish I could be 25 again, and start the journey all over, because I think it's just as much about the journey, if not more, than it is the actual goal.
Yeah.
Another quick point before I lose this is oh, I might have just lost it. Good. Um, Oh, okay. So in that Anthony Brooks podcast, he was like, there's something called the military like method or something or whatever, where if you're 80% proficient or have 80% knowledge in something, you then pursue that and like you then have a bunch of direct reports and then you become like a general or whatever. So it's you can kind of relate that to the search aspect, right? We're seekers, we're searching, we're not really content with what's going on. We want to do what we want to do. And once we're okay, so you're super into fitness, you're trying to start your fitness business, like you probably have like near 80% knowledge on that. I'm sure there's unlimited things, right? Like me and hunting, like I have a bunch of knowledge on that. I'm not an expert in any means, but once you like kind of think you know and have a majority of the tools you need to kind of fully pursue that, go pursue that and do it and do it. And like
Mhm.
if you don't like it, you pivot. But back to the kind of the quiet desperation thing, yeah, a lot of people live in quiet desperation and don't say anything because you're supposed to be the tough man who's not supposed to like your emotions and thoughts, and you're not supposed to tell anybody, and you're just supposed to suck it up because you have to do the things you want to do and work hard, you know?
Yeah, that's a societal standard once again,
Yes.
you know?
Yep.
But
Yep.
it's also a valid point as you're navigating your way through this life, and you need to present yourself a certain way to find the correct mate to get to a certain position in, let's say, business or whatever. Like, people need to, and I think this is that fine line of what's the right answer, where I don't give a fuck what people think and say, but
Yep.
also I kind of need to, in terms of being an entrepreneur, I need to understand the market, so I need to care about opinions of others,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. Yes. 100%.
And I and
100%.
I and I want to find this partner who can help me become the best version of myself, and then her same vice versa, right?
Yep.
So what can I do for myself that before we even sit down and have a conversation like you and I are having, because this is going to get you as deep as you can, but what gets me to this conversation is putting yourself out there, is
Yeah.
presenting yourself in a way as you want to be seen, and
Mhm.
it's not necessarily caring about the opinions,
Yep.
I think, but it is being confident in who you are, and it's like, this is who I am and this is how I'm going to give off this perception. I don't care if you like see that or not, but I'm just going to keep rolling with it because that's what I want to become and that's who I want to be.
Absolutely. And then you won't really be able to find that group, the like four successful people, you become the fifth, etc. If you
Yeah,
don't put
yeah,
yourself out there, you're going to just be stuck, right? You're stuck with
yeah.
what you have. And now that we have the internet, a great thing is you can go find people across the world. Like we don't live in the same state. We miraculously met each other and through friends of friends and like, that's just what it is, right? And now you put yourself out
Yeah.
there. I didn't know you kind of were on this like mindset, like self-reflection, philosophical journey that I'm kind of in the same boat, honestly, trying to figure out what life is and what I want to do and be my best self. And, that if you don't put yourself out there, you're never going to freaking know.
On that note, this is such a good one. You're definitely a thinker, right?
Yeah.
So I feel like even when we had met, it was like, all right, Chase is going, like, this thing up here is
Zillion,
running.
zillion miles an hour every day.
And what do you think the danger in knowledge is in that regard, right? The saying ignorance is bliss
Yeah.
is you could lay your head to bed. Let's say you've never turned on the news, you've never grabbed your phone, and you can lay your head at rest thinking, I can't wait to wake up tomorrow morning and do the same things I did today. But in the society we're in, is I could grab my phone, I could follow I could follow the path of social whatever and be worried about the fear of, we might get invaded or we're invading or whatever
Yes.
it is. And it's like,
Yep.
I
Yep.
put my head on the pillow and all I can think about is, damn, I'm fucked. So like knowledge is a dangerous thing. And the way you think about it, like what is your interpretation of the way your mind works, your pursuit towards knowledge
Mhm.
and the way that you think?
Yeah, so you kind of said a big piece. It's like you almost get into like analysis paralysis, so like fuck, everything's gonna blow up because that's the algorithm that's pushed to you. And I don't know who like came up with this theory, but like we're supposed to be in tribes of like 60, right? The max amount of people you're supposed to know is 60, and that's your tribe. But now we have access to 9 billion people across the world, so like that's hard. With me, someone who loves knowledge, like I'm a knowledge junkie. Like I said, I listen to podcasts every single day. I'm always trying to find out new things and information. I can only control what I can control, and I know that in the back of my mind. I used to kind of be. I still love conspiracies, and they're super fun. Don't trust the government, but it's neither here nor there. Let's not get kicked off the air here. But you can only control what you can control. Like you can spiral yourself out of control and think your world's gonna end tomorrow and Russia's gonna come attack. But like at the end of the day, like, if it happens, it happens. You can't fucking control everything. And to wig yourself out about that, or like the government, or like deflation, like or inflation, excuse me. Like, sure, it's all going on at the same time, but there's only so much you can do. I can only be the best fiance I can be, the best worker I can be, the best athlete I can be. I can only keep my health up so much. Now, me personally, I like to know. So that's where I go to ancient history. Like, I don't think we know we're a species of amnesia. And guess what? I took that from somebody else. I think Graham Hancock, maybe, or Randall Carlson. But we don't really remember our past. Institutions at the top like to control the narrative. They've sold all the books, so they are in power. They want to keep that power, so they're going to do anything they can to prevent new narratives or new histories from coming out, so that they can just keep controlling the narrative, right? And absolute power corrupts absolutely, right? That's just kind of nature in itself and human nature. Maybe it's not. I'm sure there have been some good rulers and presidents, kings, whatever you want to call it, but I just personally like to know. And so, from being an information knowledge junkie, I think knowing is better than not knowing. I would rather know that our dollar is being printed to zero and being able to prepare myself from any downstream effects of that than being like, all right, whatever, another day, I'm gonna go buy my Dunkin' $8 coffee or Starbucks and spend all the money I can. But like, I think it's better to know, but be aware that there's so much information out there and you're just being dumped on all the time, and not let it, and try. Like, it used to get to me a little bit, but like I've realized, because I like to think, right? I like to say I'll throw on a podcast and fucking, like, whether I take Rogan's ideas or not, right? I like to know, and I will try to do whatever I can with that knowledge, whether I take the idea or not. But knowing I'm not in control is bottom line. I kind of rambled there, but knowing I'm not fully in control, but knowing, in my opinion, is better than not knowing.
Mm, yeah, yeah. And preparing was a good
Yeah.
word,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Because it may not happen,
Hmm.
but if it does, I'll be prepared. And then
Yes.
that's a percentage game. So what are the chances, right? How many? I'm so curious what your opinion on this is going to be,
Let's
because
hear it.
there are people in the U.S. who have bunkers for when the inevitable apocalypse comes.
Yep.
All right,
Yep.
they're prepared. Is it a low percentage? Probably very much so, right? But
Yep.
like at the end of the day, if it helps them sleep at night because they are mildly prepared, great,
Right.
right? Like
Yes.
there's not a right or wrong answer.
There's
It's
not.
like
There's
I
not.
just happen to have a bunker in my backyard. Like
I mean,
it is what it is.
right. Right.
What's your opinion on that?
On the what
You
percentage that like apocalypse is going to happen?
just a yes.
Like, honestly, 50-50. And like,
I
tomorrow,
knew it.
we could literally, so there's something called the Younger Dryas impact theory. That's ancient history that's been denied for a while. But
Mm,
but asked, so we go through the Taurid meteor stream twice a year at, like, I think it's the end of July, and then, or early June, I forget, doesn't really matter, that like June, July timeframe, and then end of October, early November. So like the Halloween meteor shower, right? Meteors fly by Earth and actually hit Earth more than you think. So the Younger Dryas impact is meteors came and hit the ice caps in North America and caused massive floodwaters to rush across the whole Earth. So that was about 12,500 years ago. You can get into Atlantis. Plato heard from Socrates, I'm pretty sure. Maybe it was his uncle. I think Socrates' is his uncle. Doesn't really matter. I'm getting the story wrong, but
mm,
Plato talked about Atlantis about 9,000 years ago from his time, and that now equates to about 12,500 years ago today, which is when 12,500 years ago is when the Younger Dryas impact happened, and meteors from the Taurid meteor stream came and hit Earth, right? So meteor sightings and asteroid sightings and comet sightings whizzing past Earth and hitting Earth have increased since we put more satellites up in the sky. And it's only increased, right? It's always been there until we knew. So it's like always a 50-50 that cataclysm could happen. There's been near extinction events all throughout our history, and we just don't talk about those. People are like, oh, global warming. or like you want it to be warm. When it was too cold, we didn't have enough plants creating oxygen because a byproduct of plants breathing is oxygen and they breathe CO2. And the more
Mm,
CO2 we have, the more plants we have. Fun fact. So what I do at work is I usually like to give a fun fact, and I give random fun facts because I have a bunch of fucking random ones.
shocker.
From the 1980s to now, there's more greenery on Earth than there was back then. I don't know the percentage. It was like something like 20%. There's more green plant life on Earth today than there was back then. And the common denominator is carbon increase, but people have been screaming climate change and we're gonna melt the ice caps. You know what? Good. So then we move cities back a little bit. We prepare. We have the technology to be able to prepare for these things. We are in the middle of an ice age. Uh, what is the what? It's the Holocene era. I'm pretty sure we're in. We're in the middle of an ice age. Ice ages happen every 12,000 ish, 13,000 ish years, right?
Mm,
The pole flipping is another thing that was being suppressed for a while. There was a book called The Adam and Eve Story. I forget who it was, and the CIA redacted that book and didn't let people read the book. It's now you can like find it on YouTube, and I'm pretty sure you can find out of print copies. It's not printed anymore, but that book described the pole shift, and the pole shift is like necessary from what I've heard and seen. I could be completely wrong, but this is just I'm telling you what I've heard and seen. I'm not an expert. I don't know.
mm,
But the
mm,
pole shift is necessary to keep Earth on its orbit and have it have the different seasons and like all of these things are necessary for Earth to kind of be what it is and be in that Goldilocks zone and have the orbit around the sun and all these things. And just because narrative and money is involved, money is the root of all evil, actually, even preventing you from pursuing your dreams. And
mm.
that's I kind of went off on a really big tangent there, but like it's always 50-50. That was the initial point. It's always 50-50. The world can end tomorrow, but enjoy today because you
Yeah,
only have today, you know?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, and the climate has always changed. It's a
Always. It's been changing
always,
forever. It
yeah.
don't you can't let like mainstream media and whoever like wig you out to no end because it's easy. That's how they drive views, right? Negativity sells and negativity is sticky. Don't fucking let it stick to you. Now I'm negative sometimes
Old,
too.
yeah.
I'm not perfect. Nobody's perfect, but negativity is sticky. And that's why if you're with four negative people, you become the fifth. It sticks to you, right? You could say positivity is sticky too, but negativity is worse than positivity. And that's not
But
something you
we're
want to
but
stick.
we're wired to recognize negativity more dominantly than positivity, right? If you have 100 positive comments,
The
great.
one.
Wipe them through. That one is going to stick with you, and that's just how we're
Oh,
wired. Survival mechanism, whatever you want to call it.
yep.
Uh, and lost my train of thought again. Fuck, something along
Negativity
those lines.
sells, media, it's easier to sell
Um,
negativity.
Mass marketing, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a marketing scheme, right? It's
100%.
here's
100%.
negativity. We're going to grasp onto you, and then you're not even thinking about yourself. I mean, this is in terms of climate change, but
Yep.
you're not necessarily thinking about yourself. Now we're marketing it towards younger generation. So what do I care about more than myself? Is my offspring. People
Yep.
treat their dogs and animals better than they treat themselves, right? So now
Yep.
you're talking about my kids.
Right?
Yeah, no shot.
Right?
It's mar- like it's
They're not gonna have a city to live in. The sea levels are gonna rise, the penguins are gonna die.
yeah.
So
Prepare,
yeah, prepare.
prepare.
Definitely it's better to be prepared and know than not know and be unprepared, in my opinion.
Yes, yes. That's a all time line.
Another crazy
What is it?
fun fact that sorry I'm cutting you off, but to add on to that of where species of amnesia, only 1% of all living organisms on the history of Earth ever have been fossilized. Think about that. 1% of all living organisms on Earth have been fossilized. 1%. Earth has been around for 13 billion years. People
Mm.
say it's doubled. Like people say it's more or less, whatever. 13 billion years is baseline. Like that's a fucking long time. We can't even think past like 90 years.
So think about all the shit that we don't know.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
And for like people to be
yeah,
like, we're sure climate change is gonna end the earth. Not to like go on this fucking tangent, but like nobody knows
yeah,
anything and the experts don't know anything either. So
yeah.
the experts definitely have a more informed opinion, but it's like an opinion.
But it's still just something that's comforting for people to hear, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Where
Yeah.
like, I mean, I think exactly what you just said with the point or 1% of fossils. So out of the time that human beings have existed and we've been able to do the thinking that we can,
Yep.
we know minuscule 0.00000% of
Yep.
what has been on planet Earth, what's out in the universe, what's out in the world.
Yep.
And you're and the other side of that, well, first and foremost, is how educated of a um, understanding can we have, knowing that we talk about dinosaurs as if it's insanity, but there could have been other things on the planet.
Yeah.
And then
Yep. 100%.
the other thing with that is lost it.
It's okay. It's okay.
Lost it.
Experts, they think they know, and it's just trying to sell you an idea is kind of where we were at. And your kids want, we
No.
only know 1% of anything. Experts are all just informed opinions. That's
Yeah,
that's where I
yeah,
would
I
stop.
agree. And there was something else I looked this up earlier because we were on the topic, but we traveled off a little bit. I'm gonna say
Yeah.
this, and then
Say
I
it.
think moving on to the next one is a good
Yeah.
play.
Yeah.
I mean, it's such a common thing. I'm sure you've heard it, and it's a big saying in like the addict world, but I think it's applicable for anybody and everybody, right? And it's the serenity prayer, which is God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to think change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference.
That's deep.
Right? So
Yes.
when we talk about
Wait,
these
wait. Give me the
things,
courage to change the things I can and the wisdom to know the difference. That's really deep. That's
so
really
grant
deep.
me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, which is if it's out of my control, please help me accept that, which
Coin
most
flip.
people I think could work on, right?
Yep.
Um, the courage to change the things I can, which is another difficulty where can I please act upon this moment because I'm the only one who can change it and nobody's coming to do it for me.
Yep.
And the wisdom to know the difference between the two. Like
Yep.
that's an elite it's a saying in the world of addicts and a lot of recovering alcoholics, but I think it's so applicable for anybody and everybody. Really, I do.
Yeah.
Um,
100%.
so when we were talking about uh, the things we can control versus the things we can't, like my head usually just goes to the serenity prayer where it's what I do is I try to understand that most things are out of my control, but what are within my control, I'm gonna fucking do what I can to navigate it the way I'd like.
Absolutely. That's just like being a positive, good person. It's so easy to be negative
Yeah.
and talk
So easy.
shit. And although like talking shit may be fun sometimes, like it's just not good for your soul, you know? Like
Mm,
it's not.
mm,
I think I like
mm,
trust me, we all do it, right? That's like
mm.
not to say even Joe Rogan doesn't talk shit or whoever you think the best that he's like the best person ever, but like whoever is the best person to you, they talk shit too.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
but to be that little positive change in a world of negativity is really important.
I think to just actively be working on your positivity is more
Actively
than
working on
enough.
yourself, I think in general. People
Yeah,
don't do that.
yeah.
There's some, I think it was by Brian Tracy. I don't know. You see my stories all the time. I post like all those kind of thought leader, I mean, not thought leaders, but like thinkers and like success
Mm,
people. It's like working hard, working on your job will be, you'll like make a living, but working on yourself, you'll make a lifetime or something like that. That
yeah,
that was really important. And like you'll something like along those lines. Like work on yourself
yeah,
and you will become the best you can be is by working on yourself.
yeah. Love it.
Can you, yeah. Yep. Yep. You might have
I love it. What
take
are
a
you
swing.
thinking?
No, I think it was glitching out on my end. It was glitching out on my end a little bit. Something that I want to touch on that we kind of touched on and drifted on was enjoying the journey. Um, I think that is so fucking important, and I lose sight of that a lot. Like especially now in a time of like I'm trying to find a new job and things like that. Enjoying the journey is so important because that's what builds you as a person and character. If you can suffer through the shit and being dragged through the mud and doing the crap you don't want to do and then finding the thing you want to do we said you're gonna or I said you're gonna look back and be like shit, I wish I could do that all over again. Really important.
Yeah, and Alex Hormozy has said this multiple times, and this is going to be part of the story I tell when I do get to the summit, when I do get to the top or what I'm trying to achieve.
Yep.
and especially on the travels I was on, and this is kind of reiterating some of the stuff we talked about, but posting on social media, a lot of friends and family saying, "Oh my God, you're living the life, you're living the dream. This is all amazing." But there was a lot of low moments where maybe I had Bali belly and I thought I was going to die and I'm by myself in Bali and don't know anybody. And my ego might be the thing that doesn't save me because I'm too shy to ask a stranger for help.
Right.
Um, or I'm in a house by myself in Australia. It's cold out and all I'm doing is reading and writing. But like those are lower moments that also help me as a thinker
Hmm.
that I'm thinking, you know, I think naturally I'm pretty good at suffering. So it's like this moment is going to help me to tell the story and become the person I want to be
Yep.
compared to I need to get out of this right now. It's like no, sit in this moment, embrace the suffering. This sucks. And there's something in me that like loves it. It's so weird, but
No,
but I think
that's great. That's really great.
it's what's yeah, I think Hormozy said it well though, because it is a thought where this is going to be part of the story I tell and it's going to make me who I am.
Yep.
So
That's part of
the
your
journey,
overnight
dude.
success story. That's going to be the
It
part of
is.
your overnight
It
success
is.
story.
And I think that's also part of a social thing though, because I'm thinking about telling other people like, oh, it didn't happen like that for me. Like I had to work for it.
Yep.
I was down on myself. I did, and that's just work ethic. And I think that's what is a big difference for the 90% of people who don't stop compared to the 10 that maybe they are actually just like an overnight success. You get lucky on your first go.
Yep.
But the 90% of people where I just, I did 100 podcast episodes this year and I had to hop on a flight and go like you did shit that people are like, "You really? You did that?" Like you and I'm in the early phases of just what I like to call being a sick fuck, where people look at you and they're like,
Like, what the hell are
"You're
you doing?
different.
Yeah.
You're different. Like why? Yeah, what's going on?" But I'm accepting it now. I think
Yep.
it's always been who I am and who I was.
Yep.
But as a younger 20-year-old trying to fit in, this is what everybody else is doing. Let me mold myself and be like the rest of the room. And that brings me to a couple different thoughts that we could go into too. But yeah, that's my opinion on the journey.
No, the journey's important. The journey, I've come to the realization it's just as important as the goal. And
Mm,
then,
mm,
and then to that is like you're just chasing the goal for the goal, and then once you hit it, like, are you really happier? Right? Like, is it then you're just trying to chase the next goal, and then you wake up and you're like, I've just been chasing the journey the whole time. It's never about I don't think it's ever about the goal. I think it's about enjoying always and enjoying the journey always. Like I'm going like let's say I will, but let's I do the move out west for a year and try to be an outfitter and whatever. Like that's part of
mm,
the journey. Like enjoy. The goal isn't to like make all this money. I mean, it is. You can come and go as you please. Like that's part of it, but reaching the goal just brings you to wanting to reach the next goal. And you're never going to
mm.
be happy once you keep like, and that's tough, right? Some people will be happy and they'll be like, all right, oh, my pen. All right, I'm done. Like, like I reached the goal. That's it. Right. I
Yeah,
think, like, I don't know. I haven't gotten, like, I've reached some of my goals, but then I haven't been like super happy. Right. But I'm
yeah.
starting to realize that's not necessarily what I want to do. So I'm kind of pivoting, but I am I'm thinking like, am I just going to keep chasing these goals and never feel satisfied?
Well, I think you've already achieved things you said would make you happy, and
Yeah.
that's another one that I've heard elsewhere. I think Chris Williamson, and it's so applicable. I just had my buddy on. We did a podcast a few days ago that I got to chop up and post, and getting a lot of content, which is great. But
Yep.
he's an athlete in his own right. I mean, he played college football, quarterback, and he's an athlete still as he's a professional in the insurance industry. But we talked about it like, all right, you finish a marathon and you said once you completed this, you'd be happy. You're probably not going to do it again. But the natural human instinct and our drive is, and the way we're wired, especially more driven individuals like yourself, all right, did it. I can do it better. I now have this information to pull from where at mile 12 I had to do this differently. So next time I'm going to change it and I'm going to do better. And I think I call that athleticism within any realm. The way
Yep.
you retain information and then you use it to perform better. is my definition of athleticism. And that could be in
Yeah.
a professional environment, that could be physical, it could be whatever it is, it could be relationship. Like, there's probably a different word, but I think all of that is necessary. So to go back to it, you've achieved things you said would make you happy. I think that's something I need to actively work on,
Hmm.
is being grateful for small wins. And I tend to compare myself to the best in whatever craft I'm doing, which I think is good to get me to a higher level.
Yep.
But at the same time, accepting the fact that I've been doing this for a couple of weeks, they've been doing it for years, and like, you need to kind of play that game with yourself because comparison is a real thing. Um,
Absolutely.
but if you can remind yourself, like, I respect that person and not be judgmental, and I'm comparing myself negatively to who I was yesterday. So have I gotten better? That's when the negative and the negative thoughts should come into play, in my opinion.
Definitely. Yeah. And again, that goes back to it's you versus you, right? You can say, I
For
want to
sure.
get to Chris Williams' volume and level in podcasting, but it's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to happen tomorrow. Was my podcast better than
Yeah.
last time? Yes. Did we
Yeah.
figure out the video recording issue from the previous time? Yes. So that's the 0.5%, 1%, quarter of a percent that really takes you where you want to go. And again, it exponentially adds up. And people don't realize that. Like, I look back
Mm.
over, I started my professional life after graduating in 2022. Like, I've come this far. I've reached the goals that I wanted to. Am I happy yet? Like, generally, yeah, but like, no. So I need to keep on that journey. I need to keep searching,
Mm.
right? I need to keep looking for what I really want to do and what's really me.
But the bar keeps raising either way.
Yeah, it does. It does.
Once you graduate school, 20-year-old you would have been like, the goal is to get my MBA,
Yeah.
whatever. And then once you get it, you're like, well, now my goal is to make $1 million. Well, once you
Right.
get a million, now my goal is to make $10 million.
Mhm.
And I think it's a beautiful thing. And I'd rather be like that than the other way around, where I'm like, great, hit my goal, I'm done.
Yep.
Don't
Yep.
want that either. So I think it's the way that you be present within those moments where you have accomplished it, and taking a step back and smelling the roses, and
Yes.
going out and celebrating a win. When you graduate, it's like, I hope you go out and get fucked up like you would when you were 20, because you
100%.
deserve it.
Mhm.
And then it all just, it makes it meaningful in a way. And I'm saying that as
Yeah.
a, you do what you choose to do, but like, that's what my approach would be, is how can I be as present in this moment as possible, is don't overthink it and don't overcomplicate it. Which, again, with social media, is it's so uh, pressed upon, where you know David Goggins' mindset is like, go 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 go.
Yep.
I think it's a great mindset to have, and I think it's a necessity to have that attitude, especially if you want to be successful in your craft.
Yep.
But you're going to be a miserable fuck,
Oh,
and that's not the
100%.
goal. The
100%.
goal is successful. And I was thinking about this too while you were talking. Having the best story is like, at the end of my time, I just want, like, my resume to be like, fuck, he did all that.
You got to
He did
build the
all
life
that shit.
resume. Jesse Itzler says that.
Dude,
Build the life resume.
I
100%.
gotta read you this. I
Let's
gotta
do
read
it.
you this. I posted it on my story, but it's so good. You probably saw it. I'll read it quick, and then you can go on your side. But I can never be all the people I want and live all the lives I want. I can never train myself in all the skills I want. And why do I want? I want to live and feel all the shades, tones, and variations of mental and physical experience possible in my life. So it's written interestingly, but
Mhm.
what I get from that is, I want to experience as much as possible in this life and have
Yes.
the best story and try out the most things. And, you know, it, being a Renaissance man versus being an expert, you could go back and forth on both sides all day. But I
100%.
think that quote's great.
No, that quote is absolutely right, and that again rings of build your life resume, do cool
Mhm.
things, go take the job out west that's random for a year because you like to do that at the moment, whether I like to do it in 20 years or not. Uh, Dude, when I tell my kids, oh yeah, I like lived in the mountains for like 3 months to outfit people and go kill mountain goats and elk and go hunt grizzly bears and deer, like that's the coolest thing ever. Now, maybe it's not cool to them, but it's freaking cool to me. And as long as
Yeah, but
you're happy with it,
they'll
like,
get there.
yeah, absolutely. But like you see what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
I went to Iceland. I proposed to my wife in Iceland. Like that's fucking sick. Under a waterfall, beautiful. Like we snorkeled between the European and North American tectonic plates. I walked on a glacier. Like how many people can say they walked on a glacier? Not many. I mean, I'm sure, okay. Like not many I know. You get what I'm saying. Like all the cool adventures you go
A
on.
very low percentage of people. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yes. Like do the cool thing, take the risk, take the trip that gets you fired from your job. Like there will be a zillion more jobs. Now that another really controversial topic, like how bad is it to get fired from a job? It's pretty like career wise, like definitely bad, but like I don't know. I feel like what's it like a dozen, a million and a dozen, or whatever it is. Like
A dime a dozen.
a dime a dozen. There will always be jobs. Like
Yeah, yeah.
that doesn't define you. Like sure, maybe like you took too much vacation or something, and like that's why you got fired. But like you can still be a hard worker, right?
To
So
me, to me, it means, and I'm actively pursuing the live to work type of attitude opposed to work to live,
yeah,
where I'm not saying I live my entire life to work, but I live my life to be passionate, like do what I'm passionate about
yes,
daily and
yes,
be monetarily stable from it.
yep,
Um, so in regards to getting fired from a job is you could be the hardest worker in the world. You could be bad at whatever field you're in. You could be a bad communicator, not be getting
mhm.
sales, whatever it is, all these things. And really what it is it's based on your passion and what you truly want out of it, in my opinion,
No, I
is
like that take a lot. I like that take a lot.
if you were passionate and loved what you were doing, you'd be in there before work started and after work started because you wanted to be the best version of it. And
Yeah,
I think what the pursuit and what you love is like I'm willing to go a little bit further than the same person who's trying to get what I'm trying to get. So
yeah,
like I'm gonna work harder, I'm gonna stay later. And if you're doing these things, maybe you're not where you want to be in the level of performance wise, but my executives, my superiors can see I'm getting better, which
yeah,
means he's going to continue to get better. And like you said, we're going to get that hockey stick curve, and
yep, that
eventually it's like
exponential.
something connected, and he's the best worker we have, right? So I think those are some of the intangibles. Again, I relate it to sports where you see a player who has that attitude, but
Hmm.
it's the same thing in business. Um, so like if you get fired from a job, it just tells me that it wasn't for you, like you weren't passionate about it. Now, are there situations where people fuck up
Yeah,
like really bad?
yes,
You know, grant me the serenity to control the things I can, and those that are out, the
yeah,
same thing, right? You know,
yep.
I did my best, but at the end of the day, it was out of my control.
Hmm.
You know,
I
that's
like
my
that.
approach.
No, no, those are all really great takes. I like how you relate it to be like being an athlete. That was really good.
Mm.
I've never heard that before. Where if you're really gonna be in the pursuit of greatness in whatever you're doing, you're gonna be an athlete in whatever you're doing, whether it's finger painting or photography or mountain biking or being a fitness influencer or starting a business. If you want to be the greatest, you're gonna be the greatest athlete in whatever discipline you're gonna be in.
Well, I just think what it is you get to a point where it's not necessarily about the athleticism and the physical attributes, but it's mindset.
Yes.
Whenever when you get to that highest level, it's what's going on up here. So yeah, like the physical stuff is valuable, but being an athlete to me is where like Tiger Woods, the mindset you need to have to be at that level in that sport. Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, like we could go down this laundry list. They're pure raw athleticism and um, skill isn't that much different than their competition when you're at that peak level.
Yeah.
What's the difference? Is I'm walking in on game day like I would steamroll you and kill you if it's gonna get me what I want. So it's
Yep.
mindset, and it's
Yeah.
the same thing in business. Um, it's the same thing in life, right? And it's
Mhm.
just that's what I mean by it when I say the athletic side of things.
No, that absolutely, and I would agree with that. They see it. So I'm looking at the list of things that, like I said to you, visualizing things into reality. They see them already winning before the game started. Tiger Woods sees himself getting a hole in one or two in whatever course he's playing. Michael Jordan sees himself getting 23s in a game. Like
Mm.
and visualizing things into reality, I think is true. I relate it to, and unfortunately, I took this from Rogan, but not unfortunately, but whatever. It's true. Like somebody thought of the Sharpie. Somebody thought of this writing device. They thought of the cap, right? They'll zoom in. They thought of the cap having a hole in it so it can prevent, maybe this one doesn't. This one doesn't, but bad example. Some pen caps have holes in them to prevent choking. They thought of this being a fine point Sharpie. This didn't exist until somebody thought it into reality. The spoon, the knife, uh, the arrow, the bow and arrow, the hammer. These things were once ideas in people's brains and they got brought into real life. But is it really real life, even if it's in your brain? I think it is real life, even when it's in your brain. And that kind of goes towards like Michael Jordan seeing himself getting 23s, Tiger Woods seeing himself getting hole in ones. If you think it, and you can think it and you can believe it and you can bring it into reality. And then again, back to, is it already in reality if you're thinking about it? I don't know. Interesting.
Manifestation, right?
Yeah,
And if you are if you're convinced of it and it'll eventually become a thing, then yes, it is reality. Because I'm not going to stop until it's real.
100%.
Uh, and it's having that attitude. I think overall, are there harder days than others? For sure,
Yes,
but I
absolutely.
know the energy I come with, and yeah. So
Absolutely.
yeah, that was a good one.
Heck yeah. Let's see on this list. I have Plato's Cave in Society and Today. I think that's very true, right? You're not really given, a lot of people will cry for whatever thing is happening around the world, but they aren't there, right? You're portrayed an image on a wall through internet, social media, the mainstream news. Maybe a lot of it is true, right? Maybe there's a Plato's Cave is there's some people in a cave and then there's a fire
I was just gonna ask.
in
I'm
the
not familiar. Can
okay,
you?
so Plato's Cave
Yeah.
is there's some people in a cave and there's like a fire in the background and somebody's hold like another person's holding up like images. So there's like a bird, like a sun, and like a tree, right? And they just get these images on the cave wall of the bird, the shadow of the bird, the sun, and the tree. But the person who's holding up those bird and the sun and the tree has vision to the outside world where it's really beautiful. There's grass, there's a running stream, there's all of this life around them. And then there's the people who are truly outside and truly see what's going on in the outside world and aren't given this um they aren't given this like pictorial image of what's really going on. They're the true experience. It's the true experiencers versus the people who are kind of watching the movie almost. Right. And
Mm,
so that's like really ringing true in society today, where a lot of things you see on the media and what you're told isn't really what's going on. Now, I'm sure some of it is like there's a tree, there's a sun, there's a bird, but you're not really getting the full picture. And that's back to
that's a
like
good one.
that's like I'm not coming up with your own ideas, but like being captured by social media and like and focusing on like the negative, right? Like, oh my God, the world's ending tomorrow, it's on a coin flip. Like that kind of deal. So I think that's a really interesting point that we really see today that Plato was talking about back in 400 AD, 400 or BC, something like that. So it's just interesting concept. Look up the
Yeah,
picture of Plato's cave. Look up a picture of it online, and you can see what I'm talking about.
but you said, oh, Plato's Cave. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. So it's giving. I think this reminds me of there's that picture that was going around the internet a little while back, and it's like if you zoom out. Actually, let me just say it so it makes sense.
Yep.
When you first see the photo, it's like it looks like a guy is about to stab another guy in the back,
Yeah, I know it's exactly.
and then when you zoom out, that knife is actually his foot, and he's running away from the other guy.
Yes,
That is
bingo.
that is mass media in a
101.
nutshell. And that's
101.
exactly, I think, what I just got as I looked up the Plato's Cave. You're right. You're gonna see what I want you to see, and now your interpretation and your perception of me is based on what I'm showing you,
Yeah, exactly. It's
which
like
is
a drop
really
reality.
it is. And then it goes into perspective and
Hmm.
perception
Hmm.
because this is what I think. This is how, and you and I have a different relationship than you and a friend of ours, where it's like I know Chase this way, they know you that way, and
Yeah. Yes, definitely. Definitely.
there's so many factors that go into that stuff, but it's what's give excuse me, it's what gives certain individuals who may mess up in life such loyal friends
Yep.
is that these friends know what he's done in this
Hmm.
area And just because of that one mistake, it's not going to change the type of person he is. And then
Absolutely.
on the other end of that is I met you as a piece of shit, so like you're wrong. Like it depends on
Yep.
timing and perception and all
It's the
that. That's just
knife,
where my head
the
goes.
foot knife, and the person running away.
I'm gonna see if I can pull that picture up because that one is uh
That one's
knife
really good too.
image.
That one's really good too. That's like similar to Plato's Cave. It's the same thing, just I think more modernized. Honestly, I really think
Yeah.
that's the same thing but more modernized.
Let me see if I don't even know what I would look up.
I don't know to look up either. Like foot foot knife, person running away, camera image.
Like I I guess I'm gonna look up perspective
But the
photo.
concept of perception and perspective is really interesting. And that guy, back to talk about that, he Andy Bustamante was talking about it in the sense of like CIA tactics and being able to talk to people, because you can't have a conversation with somebody. We'll use the politics example, who's super left or super right. They like sometimes can't see the middle, and that's because of their perception, perspective, and kind of what they're feeding themselves, like media
Mm,
wise and information wise. And so to kind of be able to break down that barrier and break down those like guards you have, like the team guards, because there's no religion anymore. I mean, there is, right? But religion is being replaced with the team. Like I need my left team or my right team, or like,
mm,
you know what I mean?
mm.
So
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And going between nature versus nurture, where nurture, I think upbringing and who you surround yourself with gives you this perception of the world. And it's really the same things we've talked about.
yeah,
But obviously, as we're growing and maturing from a young age, what's happening around you is molding you into the individual you're becoming. Now, can you pull yourself out of it if you've been in a negative environment for 25 years where, you know, what there's the syndrome that Eminem had where his mom made him think he was sick when he wasn't, like
Munchausen syndrome,
Munchausen,
whatever it is.
something like that.
Yep, yep.
Yeah.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Right. So those all those things have such a impact on who we are. So nurture, in my opinion, is so key. But nature again is maybe it helps you to get out of those environments and like deep down within you. I don't know. That's a whole different array of
Yep,
conversation we could go into.
yep.
But I think it's similar because, again, to bring it back to like the shrooms trip, is I have some memories and some childhood trauma that everybody has, right? The worst thing that's ever happened to you is the worst thing that ever happened to you. It's you're
Yeah.
gonna have that same emotional connection to it, whether it's somebody dropped you as a kid or if you were growing up in a cave without any warm shelter. Like the emotional connection is the same there.
Hmm.
So recognizing that the environment plays such a big part.
Oh, huge. And that's the same thing as like you become who you surround yourself with. If you're in a negative environment, you will be negative.
Well, that's also like pulling yourself out. And this is why I preach this all the time is you need to get out of your hometown
Yeah.
or where you grew up because you could see somebody who knew you when you were 15 and if you're surrounded by that same thing all the time is you're going to remain that person because you're still in this comforting bubble and I still want my friends to like me and I still need to be social and you haven't explored yourself. But if you pull yourself out of that, maybe you go away to college, maybe you move across the country, whatever it is, now you have some freedom and now you're a little bit more mature and you can be
Yep.
yourself. And now you can find like minded people who give you confidence in the things you enjoy to do.
Hmm.
And all of a sudden, I know who I am. And then you go home and you're like, wow, I'm way different than some of the people I grew up being friends with, which isn't a bad thing. It's
No,
not that you've
no.
changed, you've grown.
Yes, yes, absolutely. Like I used to never like any of the hobbies and topics that I like now. Like sneakers, I still like have some cool sneakers that I used to collect sneakers and sell those and whatever, but like hunting, like ancient history, conspiracies, I used to never like any of that stuff. And now that's like I'm obsessed. Quantum physics, and couldn't give a shit about school or learning, and now like I actually kind of like it. I find it interesting. So,
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. And imagine you were surrounded by I don't know your situation, but let's just say like childhood friends. And I have great childhood friends. I'm
yeah.
just as an example.
Yep.
Um, let's say you started pursuing hunting and your friends, your fiance, very negative about it, right? Just
Mhm.
negative energy. if you love it, you'll still do it, but it's going to negatively impact your perception of it too. Maybe your parents are judgmental, right?
Yep.
Whatever it is,
Yep.
it compounds, and eventually you're
Absolutely.
like, shit, maybe they're right. I should stop.
Yep. Yep.
So, but finding the people like this where we can sit and have a conversation, and there's somebody out there who is like minded. All the negative stuff that lightly brings you down, even though it might not drag too much, it's like, oh, one person, great, two steps ahead.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Name it. Pretty good. Chase,
Nico.
great catching up, brother. We got to
As
do this
well.
again.
Absolutely.
All right, be good. Talk
You
to you
too.
soon. Peace.